All right, this is a video on the second part of my Lineage Operating System installation. This is just notes that I think that people should know about. Okay, when you install a new Lineage version, an update or something, let's say you start it from, you don't do an update, you just do a fresh installation. You haven't had it on the phone yet. Well, what you want to do after you do that is install the latest version of Magisk. That is used to root your phone. So you have access to the root files, and there are some apps that you need to have root access to. It's the apps that normally you can't erase. You can get into the software of this phone, of your phone, using when it's rooted. So anyway, I'm going to go through my notes here. Get the you can go to magisk.me and just look at the bottom of the screen. You can read it. Get an official version. Do not get one that's not considered to be put out by authority, because if you do, there are harmful software versions of Magisk which could screw up your phone. So get it a real version. I don't know why people do that, but they got some bad versions out there. And when you download it, it'll come down as a file type will be APK. So after you download it, rename the file wherever you find it using a file, folder. Open it up using a file manager. Open up the bind it, in other words, and then replace APK with a thing called zip. Just remove APK and type in zip in its place, and that's the new name, Magisk zip or something. So anyway, what else? I'm trying to go through my notes quickly here because in case I want to do this again, I don't want to have to learn it again in case I don't remember everything. Okay. After you install Lineage, go to Lineage Operating System Recovery. Now this will be installed on your phone. If you follow the instructions of the other video, part 1, which tells you how to install everything, go to this, and this is where you install Magisk through. You don't do TWRP, Team Win Recovery Project. You don't do it that way. This is what you need right here. Okay, and then boot it to system. Just go through these commands and go back to reboot to system, and you'll go back to Lineage, and then you're going to have to find the app of Magisk and download it to finalize the install of Magisk. So you're going to install it the zip through here, and then you're going to have to download the app, and then your phone's going to be rooted. Something like that. It doesn't get much more simpler than what I told you. So anyway, what else here? Now, when you're going to, if you're trying to get away from Google and Facebook apps and other types of apps, some people feel that they spy on people. What you can do is you can find apps that aren't um, very, there are other options. And they're open source, meaning that you can look at the code and you can find these apps on places like F-Droid and stuff like that. And also, you can go and you can disable access to the internet of these apps too. The ones you want to close out, you want to block, you can do that going to system, then apps. This is a sequence. You go to system, apps, and then you go to each app and restrict it if you want to. Okay, anyway, there's more. Um, let's see here. Uh, okay, my suggestion is not to install on your phone Google apps nor popular apps due to possible software code that is intrusive, meaning going into your stuff that is unwanted, going into some place unwanted. You don't want to do that because it could mess with your privacy. You don't want stuff like that can do that. And I recommend turning off data, like I said before, with apps that really don't need it, such as a calculator or things like that. Um, and you can also turn on hotspot of your using your phone, and you can actually have a second phone, like an old phone or something like that, and that is set up on Google software, meaning Android operating system, and with Google Apps. That way, your main phone won't get screwed with, and because sometimes you have to have some apps do not allow you to, unless they're modified, you can't actually use them with Lineage. They have to be used with Android or the iPhone. You can't. So it's good to have another phone that's hanging around. It can be rather old as long as it's the Android version is good enough, and you can use that. Just connect it, using Wi-Fi on the old phone, and you have hotspot on your current phone, and just use your internet with the old phone. Just use the old phone using your internet on the new phone. So anyway, on the Lineage phone. So let's see what else I got to say. You can also go use Facebook and stuff like that on the old phone, and you know they're not going to be going into your software or anything like that, reading your files and stuff like that, checking out your contacts, because things can be done automatically. It doesn't mean that a human is actually doing it. And um, and it's not a bad idea to do that. What else do I have here? Because as you know, the NSA, I think I heard the NSA was like the National Security Agency or something like that, part of the U.S. government. I heard someone say that one of the models is we will own your phone. In other words, they can go in it even when it's off, download the whole thing. I think this is possible somehow. I mean, I I know it was possible. I'm pretty sure with Windows. So so anyway, with Lineage, it's harder if you don't have the certain apps on your phone that may allow that to occur. So and And if so, anyway, use the second phone, okay, with hotspot if you have to use Google stuff. That's my opinion. There's nothing that Google offers that I can't get elsewhere. Nothing that Android, the regular apps offer that I can't get some other way, which is safer. So, let's see here. And do you know, like, they're gonna, I tried to install an app, an update, and I was told that I have to have Google Play services on my phone in order for that to work. Because I updated the Lineage version, and now they're saying, "Oh no, you gotta in order to get this updated app." Because I also tried to update the app. They said you gotta have Google Play services on your phone, which doesn't work with Lineage. In other words, you got to have the Google software in your phone, Google Apps. So that's when it comes in handy for the second phone, which you use with the hotspot, because they're trying to force you, and there's other things that are being done too. Uh, you know, there are supercomputers. Okay, let's go. I'm not here to fear monger or anything like that. What else? And also, I recommend, if you can, uh, I'd recommend that you donate some cash to the creators of apps that are that you like, that are open and free source, meaning open source and free. You want to, I would recommend apps that are open source, meaning you can look at the code, and these apps are free for you to download. Because someone has to do the work on it, and it's good to, you know, help keep the services going. Unless you're going to make all the apps yourself. Um, okay, now we're going to go into deep, the deep stuff. Okay. Um, Alrighty, here we go. Let's see here. Yeah, you. So, and that you can donate to things such as Lineage and other. And I was checking into something. I'm not going to do that with this video right here. Okay, now we're going into the deep stuff. uh, a supercomputer software that is designed to predict human behavior doesn't need Lineage users' data, since it probably can obtain everything it needs from users of other operating systems. What I'm saying here is that Lineage, the users of Lineage and other smaller operating systems such as Graphian, there are so small number of people that their information isn't really necessary for a supercomputer to probably predict things using the information that is obtained from other users, such as iPhone users and regular, you know, Android phone users, Android operating system users. You know, Google's version. So anyway, I'm going to read something. There are approximately 5.78 billion smartphone users. And there are that's what is stated. Now, there are approximately 5.9 to 4.5 billion users of Android operating system. Okay? And then there are approximately 1.46 to 1.56 iPhone users. All right? And then there are approximately 4.5 million devices, meaning like phones, smartphones, that have Lineage operating system on them. 4.5 million. Now, a lot of these people may have other phones, like they'll have Lineage on one, have Graphian on another, and Google um, Android operating system on another. So they'll have multiple things. And who knows what the real number of devices there are that have. It doesn't mean people even use them very much, but that's what it says, approximately 4.5 million devices. Now let's look at the math here. That means one out of approximately 1,284 users has. Um, let me put it this way. If 4.5 million devices exist, and there's one user per device, which isn't the case because I have two devices with Lineage on it. But let's say that's the case. Only one person per device. That means that there's one out of approximately 1,284 users that use Lineage. So and that equates to approximately equal to 0.08% of smartphone users. Very little. It's not even 1%. It's not even 1/10 of 1%. So you can see why it does not matter regarding a supercomputer. They don't care. They might actually care to a certain degree because the people who actually do this are the people who have a better understanding of, like, kind of setting myself up. Hope I don't get picked up and offered a job at one of these places, but because I'm not interested in spying on people. But you know, it could come in handy though if it, if it. anyway, let's go down a little bit further. What this means, this very small Lineage users, it means this, that 99.92% are using Google's Android operating system, Apple's iPhone, and any other operating systems besides Lineage. 99.92%. And there's really, as far as I know, there's really not a lot of users of Graphian and Ubuntu Touch and various Berserk, whatever they've got operating systems. There's really not too many. Now, Lineage is a modified version of Android, but it's open source, and Google has been removed from Lineage. You can add Google apps to Lineage. They will work. As long as they're, I think you would have to install Google Play Store somehow, and then I guess all Google apps would work. But I'm not having that on my phone, and I think Google Play Store is the one that is used. That is, if any of them, that's my guess. It's a good. If it was me trying to get into people's phones, I would install Google Play Store and set it up so they can. That's the one I'd use to go through people's phones for data. Okay? Because everyone who uses Android operating system would have it on their phone. And Facebook apps is a perfect one too. So is YouTube app. TikTok, oh hell yeah. Um, and you name the rest. So this is my video. It's a suggestion. I was going to make a video on apps. Maybe I'll make one. Okay, this is the end of this.